think on your toes. In life, you have to think on your toes. Always, always, always think on your toes. You don't need any sort of preparation to think on your toes. All you need to do is practice thinking on your toes. What it means to think on your toes is to go out and just do something and think during the processes that you're doing. And it's an extremely important skill because thinking on your toes is very fundamental on many different fronts in like human interaction. Even when there's like a disaster, like you have to think on your toes in order for you to do stuff. Let's say if you're approaching a girl, if you haven't like practiced approaching a girl like at all, you're gonna be terrible at it. It's okay because it's a learning lesson for your body and for you to to now know like what it feels like to approach somebody and also to break through like the ice of any sort of uh, interaction with a girl that you might have. And this is why thinking on your toes is important. If you're if there's like an argument that like springs up in the middle of nowhere, you're you gotta approach the dudes. Like if you're at a bar or something and you see these two guys like fighting it out, bro, yeah, if you're the kind of person to want to disarm things, you better disarm it. But it's more likely that you won't disarm it because you're not like the bigger man, because you aren't the bigger man. And a lot of like thinking on your toes, just simply approaching them, just doing that process, approaching, that is the first step in thinking on your toes, because that really ensures that you have the confidence to actually approach somebody and actually be considerate of that situation. Confidence only comes with practice, or else it just comes by you not thinking. You should never think, you should never overthink uh, like simple processes because it'll stop you from uh, doing what it is that you are doing in the present. Overthink if you're thinking overthinking about talking to a girl, you've kind of like failed to interact with them. It's because you're only thinking about it in the mind, but your mind is incompetent with the real world unless you've experienced it. It's kind of like if a blind person, like a colorblind person, knew everything about color, and yet they haven't experienced color. So are they, oh, like, and if they do see color, if they were colorblind, they learn everything and then now they can see color. Do they learn anything new? Well, they experience something new. I don't know if they learn anything new, but they experience something new. And that's the exact same thing with like every single thing of advice, is that you got to apply it, and applying it takes confidence. The confidence to just approach somebody, to like go into a business deal, and even just like shaking their hand, like even doing this is it, it's a little like tricky. Most boys, even in the modern age, aren't confident. They're not confident. They're just like sitting at home, just doing stuff, and just like, uh, yo, y'all wanna go to Valorant? Y'all wanna play Valorant? Yo, let's play Overwatch. Yo, you wanna see my uh, animated girl from Genshin Impact? I like men. No, like you shouldn't. You should always break through that barrier of just like trying to be prepared for every situation, because if you're not prepared for every situation, it allows you to think on your toes, think on your feet, and just like do do whatever it takes. Do whatever you can in order for you to achieve whatever. And that's an important skill. Just simply having the confidence to do stuff is a skill. Confidence is a skill. Approaching people is also a skill. You have to keep practicing and practicing, doing it all over and over again. Yeah, it might seem repetitive, but you're bad at it. So go and improve. Just like strike up a conversation with like let's start off with your family. Strike up a conversation with your family, like, or well, what kind of conversations do you have with your family? Like, is it like some sort of uh thing about like taking out the trash, like with your mom or your dad? Just like, take out the trash, son, and you're like, okay, and that's all the conversation? Or do they like go into the hard conversation, like, oh son, let's talk about the birds and the bees, just like, you know or is it like a casual conversation? Casual conversations are the ones that you like try to like go for. If you have a family that's just like there's no love in the family, then it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. I know that if if the children don't really if the children learn from the parents, and the parents are cold, the children are going to be cold, and so it's going to be a dysfunctional family, and and it's just going to be very isolated and all that. So you have to like relearn all of these sort of things to be confident, to know what it's like to approach somebody. And like if you're like an Asian, if you ever lived in like an Asian household, you know that like uh the parents always I are either like tiger parents, or always want you to do like something, or else you have like an okay life, you have time to do whatever you can endeavor. But that's probably not the case, because your parents probably want you to study. Your parents want you to do all these sorts of things and all that and that. And oh wow, you become institutionalized. You become institutionalized. That's a great quote, because if you're in a family of just like routine, your parents just give you whatever you have to do, and you're just like there. You're not really contributing to society. You're just like doing whatever the caretaker like says, whatever daddy says, whatever mommy says. You should you There has to become a point where you have to lead yourself. And so by going into these new situations, you mature. the wisdom that you gain from just approaching any situation is in it, it's priceless. You cannot name a price onto those experiences, because those experiences are are directly targeted towards you. You are the one that is being targeted if you are like the one in that situation. A stoic view of that is just like, things don't happen to you, but they just happen, you know? But a lot of the human is about whatever affects me, whatever affects the human. And so by just doing these just going into these situations with an empty mind, you start to learn fast. I think there was like a guy whose parents just like drove him off and just like left him and his brother. He was like an old guy. I think his name was like Bernard or some. I'll find that video just like right there. And his story is like, he was dropped off, and he was telling the viewers, you learn fast. If you don't have any help, you learn fast. And it's true, because I mean, he's an example. And with me, the gym, uh I never really like looked at any sort of gym videos like beforehand. uh but I did want to like become like humongo man, and just like starting off at the gym before you watch the videos, that's important. The preparation that you have to do is unnecessary unless you actually use it. Any sort of like thought that you have is unnecessary until you use it. Any sort of knowledge. In the chapter of specialized knowledge in Think and Grow Rich, it talks about um, very very importantly how knowledge can be separated into two things. One is specialized knowledge, and two is general knowledge. Now, the thing that uh, is before all specialized knowledge is general knowledge. If you don't use that knowledge, it is general. But once you use that knowledge, it becomes specialized, because it's specialized to do something rather than just like you having it in your mind. Those things prepare you for the world. If you like own a business, those sorts of uh thoughts, just like they whatever is needed just comes to mind, and you can apply it. With these videos, for me, these videos, I think of a topic and I immediately act on it. I think of a title for the video, uh, and I just like talk about whatever it is that needs to be talked about. And I try to add on to it and try to add value onto it. But the main thing that you have to do is do. Never prepare. Well, you can prepare if you're doing it like a second time, but don't try to prepare just because your subconscious mind, your lizard brain wants to stall it. Because your lizard brain really knows what the human wants. Your lizard brain, the trium brain, that lizard brain is gonna just like try to attack you, try to do all that, try to make you complacent. Never try to be complacent. Never. This is why you always have to keep doing stuff. Keep doing so you can experience more and like know more. Apply every single wisdom that you have to whatever it is that you're doing. So that knowledge becomes not useless. And that's why you should always think on your feet, think on your toes. What I don't know uh which one it is, but these videos really help me with all of this sort of stuff. The advice that I give to people, I really want it to like impact somebody, somebody, just like anybody, anybody that's willing to use it to their own advantages. So I am able to use my knowledge to my advantages and sell you this knowledge because that's what I'm good at. Click on this video to learn more. Stay safe.